Let's come to step number 3, which is to update Ingress Server Load Balancer service. For this, log on to the Container Service console, click Kubernetes, go to Application, go to Service in the left side navigation pane. Select the cluster from the cluster drop-down list and kube system from the namespace drop-down list. Click Update at the right of the nginx-ingress-lb. An Ingress Server Load Balancer service is deployed by default when the cluster is initialized. You must update the Ingress Server Load Balancer service to automatically identify the Ingress nodes with the tag node role.kubernetes.io-ingress is equal to true. As you can see on the screen now. Now in the displayed dialog box, add the annotation service.beta.kubernetes.io /cloud load balancer backend label and then click OK. You can also log on to the master node of the cluster and run the command kubecontrol as you can see on the screen. Okay, then you have deployed the high reliability access layer of Ingress, which allows you to effectively deal with the challenges of single point of failure and business traffic, and quickly expand the Ingress access layer by adding tags. Let's quickly move to implement ISTO distributed tracking in Kubernetes. Now, before we proceed further, let's have a quick background. Now, microservice is a focus in the current era. More and more IT enterprise, as you know, begin to embrace the microservice, and the microservice architecture splits a complex system into several small services, and each service can be developed, deployed, and scaled independently. As a heaven-made match, the microservice architecture and container, both Docker and Kubernetes, further simplify the microservice delivery and strengthen the flexibility and robustness of the entire system. When monolithic applications are transferred to microservice, the distributed application architecture composed of a large number of microservices also increases the complexity of operation and maintenance, debugging and security management. As microservices grow in scale and complexity, developers must be faced with complex challenges such as service discovery, server load balancer, failure recovery, indicator collection, monitoring, A/B testing, throttling, access control, and end-to-end authentication, which are difficult to resolve. Now, let's have a word on architecture principle of ISTO. Now in Kubernetes, a pod is a collection of close coupled containers, and these containers share the same network namespace. With the extension mechanism of initializer in Kubernetes, an envoy container is automatically created and started for each business pod without modifying the deployment description of the business pod. The envoy takes over the inbound and outbound traffic of business container in the same pod. Therefore, the microservice governance function, including the traffic management, microservice tracking, security authentication, access control, and strategy implementation are realized by operating on the envoy. If I have to sum it up, into a pictorial representation would be as visible on the screen now. An ISTO service mesh is logically split into a data plane and control plane. The data plane is composed of a collection of intelligent proxies, envoys, deployed as sidecars that mediate and control all network communication between microservices. The control plane is used to manage and configure the proxies to route traffic and enforce policies at the runtime. Now, if I have to see the main components of ISTO, it has Envoy, Pilot, Mixer, and ISTO auth. Envoy stands for the Envoy is used to mediate all the inbound and outbound traffic for all the services in the service mesh. Functions such as dynamic service discovery, service load balancer, fault injection, and traffic management are supported. The Envoy is deployed as a sidecar to the pods of related services. Coming on to second one, which is Pilot. The Pilot is used to collect and verify the configurations and distribute the configuration of all kinds of ISTO components. Mixer. The Mixer is used to enforce the access control and usage policies in the service mesh and collect telemetry data from Envoy proxies and other services. Finally, talking about ISTO authentication, then auth provides strong service to service and end user authentication. Okay, so with this I'm taking a halt. In the next lecture, we would be talking about few more interesting aspects, starting with install ISTO. Till then, thank you very much.